Water bottle. Water bottle. Why is that such a weird word to say? Water bottle. Water bottle. 2 years ago, these were the best options that we had for backpacking water bottles. Then this happened. Last year, I designed this with a company called Mazama. This is the Migo, and it has sold out 3 times, broken records on Garage Grown Gear, and has hundreds of reviews. And now this year, 2 brands have released similar bottles that are super exciting. The Thrubottle by Cnoc and the Nobo from Igneous. All 3 of these bottles were designed to replace a Smartwater bottle, but be as useful and durable as an Nalgene. So now that this is irrelevant, and this is no longer your only option, I want to compare these and help you figure out which one of these bottles is best for you. Because honestly, it might not be the one I designed.
Gasp!
This is my show, gosh darn. Let's start with the Thrubottle by Cnoc. This is the Thrubottle. It weighs 90 grams, it holds 1 liter of water, and it costs $12.99. 90 grams? I was wavering between 90 and 91. Now 90 grams might seem like a lot in comparison to a Smartwater bottle because it is more than double the weight, but it is for very good reason. And this bottle still feels super light. So let me go ahead and take this packaging off and then I can show you all of the cool features on the Thrubottle. I don't want to rip it. It still looks so new.
Just rip it.
You don't want to. Eep. Boom. All right, so first up, the Cnoc Thrubottle feels much, much more durable than any Smartwater bottle. It's made from a much stiffer plastic. You can see if I try and squeeze this, it is pretty difficult to do. This bottle has measurements on the back side. They're a little bit tough to see maybe on camera, but they're pretty easy to see in person. These are raised measurements that mark the milliliters and the ounces. You can see that the first measurement starts at 8 ounces and 200 milliliters on the bottom there. And then the cap on this bottle is a 28 millimeter thread, which is exactly the same for all 3 of the bottles that we were talking about. It's what is used on a Smartwater bottle and on many different filters. This cap that comes with the Thrubottle has a tether, and this is a universal cap that Cnoc uses for the wide majority of their products. And then Cnoc has also added this little loop of plastic on the side near the top of the bottle, and then attached a cord. The reasoning for this is that it's supposed to make it easier to pull this out of a pocket or also just to kind of hold on to it. I think it's actually a pretty cool little feature that they've added to this. Cnoc Outdoors says that this bottle can withstand boiling water temperatures, but they don't recommend that you leave boiling water in it for too long. And honestly, I would definitely agree with that. With almost all HDPE products, if you leave boiling water in a water bottle like this for a really long time, it is going to soften the plastic, which might cause an issue with deforming in the future. I think I already said this, but the Thrubottle feels super, super durable. It is honestly really impressive how they were able to make something that is so simple, but so effective. And for anyone who is looking for something that's just like a direct replacement of a Smartwater bottle in terms of size and features and everything, this is about as close as I think you're ever gonna get. I'm gonna bring the Smartwater bottle back just so I can show you them side by side. Thank you. As you can see, they are almost identical in height. I do have a sport cap on this one, but if I didn't, they'd be almost the same. As far as the diameter goes, while the Thrubottle is a little bit wider than the Smartwater bottle, it's really not by much. As far as squeezability goes, it is very different between the two. So when I squeeze this Smartwater bottle, you can see that it's very easy to do that. Squeezing the Thrubottle, not as easy. And this is my dominant hand. Yeah, you can see a real difference in those two. All right, goodbye. Whee! I really love Cnoc Outdoors as a brand. I use their water bags all the time. It's what I use to filter my water into my Migo. And all in all, I just think that they're a very cool company with a very neat mission, which is simply make really great ultralight gear that people are going to want to use and use for a long time. I am going to test this bottle and the other 3 out on trail because there are a couple of things that I find really important for my water bottles to be able to do and to do well. So we will see this bottle outside. But for now, let's move on to the Igneous Nobo. Okay, so this Wow, I feel like my arm floated. It's so light. This is the Nobo bottle by Igneous. When we got our hands on one, I at first was kind of like, oh, that looks a little bit strange in terms of size and shape. But then I picked it up and I really got to feel it, and I'm honestly super impressed. Igneous is a tiny US-based brand that makes all sorts of awesome ultralight accessories, but this is their first foray into water bottles. So the Nobo is a 1 liter water bottle. It does cost $21.99, which is definitely the most expensive of the three. And according to the packaging, it weighs 65 grams. So let's check that. 66 grams, but that's probably because of the paper. 65, close enough. It cannot be stressed just how light, sorry, oh no. It's so light. Like it really is so light. And the color is azure light. This bottle does come in a couple different colors, but those color changes are just this cap here. Same thing with the Thrubottle, just changing the cap color. Bam. Yeah. Okay, so the initial feel of the Igneous Nobo bottle is honestly really great. This bottle is, like I said, very, very lightweight. It's actually quite easy to squeeze. You can see that the squeezability factor is fantastic. It has these measurements printed on the back side, starting at 4 ounces and going all the way up to, I think, 900 milliliters on the top there. The reason that it is so much shorter than a Thrubottle or the Migo, but still has the same liter capacity, is that the bottle itself has a much wider diameter. So if you compare this bottle size to the Thrubottle, for example, you can see that the Igneous is significantly wider. The cap on this bottle is fantastic. It's great. I mean, listen, Igneous makes these awesome tethered caps that I think are perfect, and they've made them for a very long time. They've just used that cap on this bottle, so no notes on that. There's a little O-ring on the inside of the cap, and then it just screws right on to those 28 millimeter threads. So, first impressions of it, I like the numbers on the side. I love that they've included a 4 ounce measurement on the bottom there. I like the liter capacity, and yeah, I think that they have really made something that prioritizes weight over anything else. And that is definitely something that a lot of hikers are looking for. Those are my initial first impressions of it. Just like the Thrubottle, we will see how this performs out on trail. But now it's time to move on to the bottle that I know the most about, which is the Mazama Migo. This is the Mazama Migo. This is the water bottle that I designed. So obviously I'm very familiar with the specs on it and also why it was designed the way that it was, because I did it. So this water bottle is a 38 ounce water bottle. It's 32 ounces or 1,000 milliliters up to the wide mouth, but then 38 ounces if you fill it all the way to the top. This bottle costs $18.95. It weighs 138 grams. Just like the Cnoc Thrubottle, the Migo is designed, obviously here in the States, by me in conjunction with the team that's based out of Bend, Oregon, and then it is made in a factory that they own in China. And perhaps the most unique thing about the Migo, nay, not perhaps, indeed the most unique thing about the Migo, is the wide mouth opening. Did I just say nay and indeed?
Doth it detach at the top? Forsooth, it does!
So, this is, I think, the most unique feature on the Migo. I designed this water bottle to have a wide mouth opening as well as a narrow mouth opening that fits a 28 millimeter filter and any accessories, just like the Igneous bottle and the one from Cnoc. The reason that I wanted a wide mouth bottle is that I wanted to be able to easily fill and easily clean this water bottle. One major difference that you may have noticed here between this bottle and the other two is that our cap does not have a tether on it. That was something that we polled people on originally, and folks said, no, we don't want a tether. We just want to have a simple cap that we can replace. But then when we actually released the bottle, people really wanted the tether. So that is something that we are working on, and we should have that out in the next round of bottles as an add-on. So if you want to buy a tethered cap, you'll be able to do that. But for now, at least, we're still going to be selling these untethered caps with the bottles. This bottle is made out of LDPE, which is a low density polyethylene plastic. And because of that, it is very easy to squeeze it. So you can see that you wind up with something that is really squeezable, really flexible, also decently clear in this material. So you can see through it pretty easily. And it's cute. What else do I say about it? The Migo bottle is designed to withstand boiling water, has printed lettering and measurements on the back. You can see those, right? And it comes in a wide variety of colors. In terms of diameter, the Migo is actually somewhere in between the Thrubottle and the one from Igneous. So I show you all three of these. Sorry, in a little stack. Like bowling pins. You can see this is the Migo. This is the Thrubottle. This is the Nobo. You see that the Migo is like right in between them in terms of diameter. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, I obviously love the Migo. I made this bottle that I'm so proud to have gotten to work on, and I made it like to fit my very specific requests. I mean, I literally drew a picture and sent it to the guys at Mazama, and they were like, we'll do our best. And then they did it. Frickin' flippin'. Banana fudging. They fudging did it. At first glance, I think that each of these bottles has a really unique benefit. This bottle from Cnoc is the least expensive, and it's the most similar in shape and simplicity to a Smartwater bottle. The Igneous bottle is definitely the lightest, which is obviously super cool, and the Migo, as you all know, is the most feature-rich. However, I think that the only way to truly compare these water bottles is to take them out on trail. Because while I've used the Migo a ton, I have never used either of these when I am backpacking or hiking. So I want to see how these three bottles compare when I'm filtering water, when I'm filling them, and when I'm drinking from them. For that, we have to go on a hike. Wow. There's a huge slug in the trail. Oh, look at you, you're so cute, you little chocolate slug. Mesmerizing. All right, I have brought out all three of the water bottles with my bag packed like I'm backpacking, just so I can really simulate what it would feel like to have a full pack using these water bottles. I have the Igneous Nobo in this front shoulder strap pocket, and then on the side, you can see, I have my Migo and my Cnoc Thrubottle. First up, I was really excited to see that the Nobo fit into my Gossamer Gear bottle pocket. This Gossamer Gear pocket is probably the most versatile size of shoulder strap pocket for water bottles. It's also the bulkiest and the heaviest, which is one reason why many people don't choose it. But I was actually worried that despite its larger and more versatile size, that the Nobo would not fit, and I was completely wrong. It fits perfectly in here. If you take a look, I can like easily get it in and out. So that's obviously really cool. And actually, because it's sort of shorter, stouter size, it's further out of my face than my Migo or the Thrubottle would be. Okay, let's get down to the creek so I can do my comparison of all three of these bottles. All right. Bam. So you saw that my Migo fits next to my Thrubottle nicely, right? The Nobo bottle also fits in this pocket, no problem. It might be kind of a snug fit to put two Nobo bottles in this pocket, but I think you could do it. I do think that this is where the slender profile on the Thrubottle really comes in handy. If the pockets where you carry your water on your backpack are slim or very low profile, the Cnoc is the most likely to fit in those pockets because this is the slimmest and the most similar in size to a Smartwater bottle. Chances are good that the Migo would also fit because it's very similar in size, but I can't say for certain if the Igneous Nobo would fit in those slimmer pockets just because it is quite a good deal wider than the Thrubottle. Before I get to filtering water into them and out of them, I do want to talk about one aspect of the Migo that was really important to me when I was designing it and is a unique feature among these three bottles. And that is the ease of putting electrolytes or any drink mix into this bottle. So for me, having electrolytes in my water is absolutely crucial. I deal with really bad migraines. I get very easily dehydrated no matter how much water I drink on trail. And I knew that when I was making the Migo, I needed to have a wide mouth opening like this so that I could very easily add my electrolyte drink packets into here. LMNT is my favorite electrolyte drink mix. I find that all of the flavors are really delicious. And for me, it has been the most effective at keeping things like headaches or muscle cramping or fatigue due to dehydration at bay. I tend to sweat a lot when I am hiking and when I'm working hard, and I definitely need to replenish my electrolytes. So if you have not yet tried LMNT, you should definitely check it out. you can go to the link below, which is drinklmnt.com/Miranda Goes Outside. If you place an order there, you'll get a sample pack of 8 sticks of LMNT. While adding LMNT electrolytes is not the only reason that I created a water bottle with a wide mouth opening, it's definitely one of the features that I considered. So that for me is a huge bonus. And obviously I am so grateful to LMNT for continuing to sponsor my channel and for being, in my opinion, the most effective electrolyte drink mix on the market. Yum. Tastes pink. With that, let's filter some water into these bottles. So whenever I'm filtering water into my bottles, I'm using a Cnoc soft-sided bag and then my Sawyer Squeeze water filter with this little cleaning coupling attached to it. I want to show you really quickly the easiest way to filter water from a soft-sided bag like this into a water bottle with a small opening like the Thrubottle or the Nobo. I'll get to the Migo in a second, but things are a little bit different with this one, so we're gonna save that for last.
Why don't we have to pee?
All right, there we go. Cool. So there's a couple options here. Obviously, you can just hang this filter bag upside down like this and use it as a gravity filter. Water's gonna come out just like that. Now I have to pee. But what I like to do is attach my water bottle to my bag. So what you're gonna do is screw your water bottle onto the coupling like this. I'm gonna tighten it all the way down, invert it, and then this is the part that's a little bit weird and maybe counterintuitive. I actually wanna back off the connection to the bottle just a little bit. All the way tight, and we're gonna back it off. So the bottle is still connected to that coupling, but now I can squeeze this and air can come out of the bottle as I filter water into it. Just like that. Cool? So this is gonna be the same process if you are filtering into the Igneous Nobo bottle or into the narrow mouth on the Migo. However, this is another spot where the wide mouth on the Migo can come in handy. If you don't have this little coupling on your Sawyer filter, or if you're using a different filter that doesn't screw onto a 28mm thread, you can very easily open up this wide mouth on the Migo and squeeze filter directly into this. And that way you have a much wider target to hit than you do if you're trying to aim for the tiny 28mm hole on some of these other bottles. Boom. Super easy to aim for that wide mouth. Same benefit on an Nalgene. If I'm filtering into this one, it's a little harder to aim for that hole. Now the same would be true if you were filtering into the Igneous, just a smaller area, so a smaller target to hit. My recommendation for sure, just make your life easier. If you're using one of these bottles that does not have a wide mouth opening, get the coupling for your Sawyer. So that's filtering water into these water bottles, but what about filtering water out of them? Because I think that's where they're gonna be the most different. For this comparison, it's essentially going to come down to how easy the water bottles are to fill and how easy they are to squeeze with enough pressure to force water through the filter and out the clean side. So let's start with the Thrubottle. Let's go ahead and fill it up. I have a very nice running stream here that I'm using to my benefit. With a narrow mouth like this, it's definitely tough to scoop up enough water, but a little running stream should make it fairly easy. All right, that wasn't too bad. So I'm attaching my filter now, exactly like I attached it onto the bag. And now let's see if we can filter water out of it. Okay, it's definitely doable, but it's really hard. So I'm able to get enough pressure by squeezing this bottle to force the water through the filter. But one issue I'm running into is that now that I've squeezed this bottle, I've essentially hit its max in terms of squeezability this direction. And if I needed to keep filtering all of this water, I need to open this back up again, let air come into the bottle, reshape it, and then do it again. Okay, truthfully, if I had to filter all of my water this way, by filling up this bottle and then squeezing it and pushing water out of this filter, I think I'd be really annoyed. That is a really difficult thing to do. That's the first thing that I've been like pretty disappointed about with the Thrubottle. For me personally, if I was looking to like replace my Smartwater bottles with this, I think I'd find that frustrating. Now, with all of that, if you're going to be using this bottle, then I would recommend just using Knoc's fantastic water reservoirs and bladders, because those will make it really easy to filter into this, as I showed you previously. But if you're planning on basically just carrying 2 water bottles and filtering out of one and into the other, it's really tough to do that with this. Let's try the Nobo bottle. That one should be easier because it's much easier to squeeze. Boom. All right. Now, because the Nobo bottle is a little bit wider in diameter, it was a little harder for me to keep my grip on it in the water, but that's a really small thing to complain about. I just have small hands. Okay, attaching the Sawyer filter. Now let's squeeze. That's definitely way easier. I can like practically fold it in half. Look at that. That's crazy. That's insane. Whoa. Now, the real test is I have totally deformed this thing. Can I reform it? Boom. Look at that. That is the Nobo bottle. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing with the Migo. To fill my Migo, I am obviously going to use the wide mouth opening just to make it fast and easy. All right, there we go. Wider mouth. It's going to be a lot faster to fill, especially when I have a running stream. Nice.
Nice.
Super easy. Because of the plastic that we use with the Migo, you can really easily kind of mold this and deform it as you're filtering. And then when I get to a place where it's no longer working or I need it to be reshaped, you can see it just totally goes right back to the shape that it's supposed to be. That is one of those benefits of that LDPE plastic. I can just filter that water out, no problem. Okay, so that is filtering water out of these bottles. The Thrubottle was definitely the hardest to filter water out of just because of the difficulty of squeezing it. The Nobo bottle was quite easy to filter water out of. It did get deformed when I was squeezing it, but that doesn't seem like too big of a deal, and it was easy to reshape it. The Migo was certainly the easiest to filter water out of and did not deform in any kind of real way. Now I have 3 dirty, okay, listen friends, you're all perfect in your own way. Stop fighting. So now I have 3 dirty water bottles, and that means it is time for the final test, which is taking them home and comparing how easy they are to clean. Hi, buddy. Can you just settle down somewhere instead of showing your butthole to the camera? So I am back home and I have 3 clean water bottles. So what did it take to clean these out? First up, I wound up just rinsing the Cnoc bottle and the Igneous bottle with warm, soapy water. I put soap in the bottles, rinsed them, shook them up really well, and then essentially just rinsed the bottles over and over and over again under my tap until there was no more soap inside the bottle. Washing the Migo out was considerably easier. I popped off the top cap, washed everything separately, and I was able to clean inside the bottle with a washcloth. These 3 bottles actually can go in a dishwasher, but I would recommend putting them on the top rack of your dishwasher, or at the very least putting them away from the heating element on the bottom of your dishwasher, because dishwashers get super hot, and the closer something is to that heating element, the more likely it is to melt. Now, like I said, I did not have a bottle brush on me, and I have heard a couple of people say that they have not been able to find bottle brushes that fit inside the Thrubottle and the Igneous Nobo bottle, but I actually did. So I picked up this bottle brush, which is a bottle brush that's designed for cleaning out wine bottles or beer bottles, and this actually fits really well inside all 3 of these bottles. So I'll put a link for this brush in the description below, but if you're also just like looking for a bottle brush, I'd recommend searching for one specifically that is meant for beer makers or wine bottlers, because those brushes are gonna fit inside these bottles. Ooh. Why did that feel so dirty? Bam! Cool, bottle brush. If I had had this when I was originally washing these out, it would have been considerably easier. Nonetheless, definitely the easiest to wash is the Migo. A quick note on washing these bottles before you use them for the first time. I would definitely recommend at the very least rinsing these with warm water before you take them out on your hike. I did find that by simply rinsing the Thrubottle and the Nobo bottle, the plastic taste in the water was mostly gone. But if you have concerns about it before that first use, just make sure that you wash them, or at the very least, rinse them. All right, so I think that concludes our comparisons and our tests. So now it is time to determine which one of these bottles is the best. What I will say is that I think all of these bottles are very durable, very well made, and choosing any of them is going to be an excellent and highly upgraded choice from a Smartwater bottle. But as far as which one's going to be best, I think it comes down to what your priorities are. If you are prioritizing cost over everything else, then the Thrubottle is going to be an excellent choice. If you're prioritizing weight as being the most important thing, then absolutely I would recommend going with the Nobo bottle. If your priority is versatility, as it is for me, then I believe that the Migo is the right choice for you. Obviously, there are a lot more nuanced reasons as to why you might choose one of these bottles over the other. For example, maybe you really like the shorter height on the Nobo bottle, or maybe you like the molded numbers on the Thrubottle, or maybe that wide mouth opening on the Migo is something that really appeals to you. But hopefully, by seeing me compare these three bottles side by side, you have a better understanding of which bottle is going to be right for you. I do not view these bottles as in competition with each other. And I think that the folks at Igneous and Cnoc would agree with me. I know that the team at Mazama does. We were all really excited to see that there were alternative options out there for people, because by having choices, backpackers can choose something that is going to be right for them. And having a variety of reusable water bottle choices means that making the decision to use a disposable bottle is less appealing. Okay, so in terms of updates about the Migo, two of the biggest requests that we have gotten is to make a smaller size of the Migo and to make a tether cap. And ta-da! I have the first sample of the 700 milliliter Migo with the tether cap here. You can see I have measurements on the back side here. This is just a little bit of a sneak peek, but this will not be available for still a little while. I just wanted to show it to you. With that, I believe that concludes my water bottle comparison. I think that there are a lot of pros to all three of these bottles. So if this video has helped you pick a favorite, let me know what that is in the comments below. And also let me know if you have any questions, not just about the Migo, but also about these other two. As always, if you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you outside. Bye. This has been a very hydrating, water-filled day. All right, bye. I can't reach it. Oh, okay. Oops, my bad.
What's on the lens?
BTS, behind the scenes, the real Miranda Goes Outside.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sorry, I regret doing that.
I did say I was ready. That's on me a little bit. I said I was ready and I didn't know what to expect.